How do you tell a story that isn't just a tale, but a cosmic enigma? A story so vast it stretches across millennia, where the lines between gods and men blur, and the very fabric of Dharma is tested at every step. What if the Mahabharata isn't just a myth, but a mirror to the chaos of the human soul? But here's the real question. How do you choose a side when every hero is flawed and every villain has a reason? Is the Mahabharata a guide to life or a warning? At the heart of this epic lies Dhritarashtra, a king blinded not just by fate, but by his own desires. His brother Pandu, cursed and exiled, sets in motion a chain of events that will shake the very foundations of their world. And at the center of the storm stands Draupadi, a woman whose fire will ignite a war and whose question will challenge the very notion of Dharma. The Pandavas, bound by duty and divine destiny, stand ready to reclaim their birthright. But at what cost will their victory come? Opposing them are the Kauravas, 100 brothers united by blood and blinded by greed. Their actions will plunge the world into chaos. But are they truly the villains of this tale? As the sun rises on Kurukshetra, the stage is set for a battle that will decide the fate of not just a kingdom, but of Dharma itself. Welcome to the world of the Mahabharata. The Mahabharata begins not with war, but with creation. The sages say it all started when Brahma, the creator, breathed life into the cosmos. But what happens when creation itself becomes flawed? Even the divine were entangled in greed, ambition, and vengeance. The rivalry between the Pandavas and Kauravas was not born in Hastinapur. It was seeded in the heavens. The curse of the past, the debts of karma, it all led to this. In the kingdom of Hastinapur, two branches of a royal family were about to shape the destiny of an entire civilization. Bhishma, the unshakable pillar of duty, bound by his vow of celibacy and loyalty to the throne. Dhritarashtra, the blind king whose love for his sons would blind him to their faults. Pandu, exiled by his own actions, father to the 5 who would change everything. Draupadi, a woman born of fire whose humiliation would ignite a war. And Krishna, the divine incarnate whose wisdom would guide the righteous through the storm of war. The Pandavas, 5 brothers bound by honor, skill, and a shared destiny. The Kauravas, 100 brothers united in their claim to the throne. At the heart of it all, Yudhishthira, the embodiment of Dharma, whose choices would test the very foundations of righteousness. The throne of Hastinapur, was it a gift or a curse? A symbol of power that would shape the destiny of generations. The Kuru dynasty was steeped in ambition, a legacy that would both elevate and destroy its heirs. Bhishma, the grand patriarch, sacrificed his chance for love and lineage for duty, a decision that would echo through the ages. But was his vow of celibacy the beginning of the kingdom's doom? Dhritarashtra, born blind, ruled with insecurity. His physical blindness mirrored the moral blindness that would plague his reign. Pandu, cursed to never touch his wives, sought redemption in the forest. His exile would set in motion events that would shake the very foundations of the kingdom. And then there was Shakuni, the puppet master or the avenger of his sister's insult. his schemes would fan the flames of conflict. What if this wasn't just a clash of personalities, but a systemic failure of a dynasty? A tragedy born from the very foundations of their power. Draupadi, a woman of unparalleled beauty and strength, became both the catalyst and the victim of the brewing conflict. Her humiliation would be the spark that ignited the flames of war, and amidst this chaos stood Krishna, the divine incarnation. Was he a guide, a manipulator, or simply a witness to the unfolding drama of human folly? The Pandavas, bound by blood and destiny, found themselves at the center of this cosmic drama. Their choices would shape the fate of not just a kingdom, but of Dharma itself. Opposing them stood the Kauravas, led by the ambitious Duryodhana. Were they villains, or simply pawns in a game larger than themselves? As the armies gathered on the field of Kurukshetra, the stage was set for a war that would decide the fate of generations to come. But was this truly a battle between good and evil, or a tragedy born from the flaws of human nature? As the battle raged on, the lines between duty and morality blurred. In the crucible of war, the true nature of each character would be revealed, and the fate of Dharma would hang in the balance. Draupadi, the woman of fire. Born from flames, her life was destined to ignite a war. Was she a victim, or was she the spark that ignited the greatest war in history? Her story is one of passion, injustice, and vengeance. Humiliated in the Kaurava court, she vowed revenge. This moment would become the catalyst for the great war of Kurukshetra. But here's the irony. Was Draupadi's suffering a result of her own curse in a past life, as some texts suggest? The wheels of karma turn in mysterious ways. And what of her polyandrous marriage? 5 husbands, each a mighty warrior, yet it was Draupadi who often stood at the center of the storm. Did she represent a progressive ideal, or was she a pawn in the hands of fate? Draupadi's life challenges us to question the nature of destiny and free will. Throughout the epic tale of the Mahabharata, Draupadi remains a figure of controversy and fascination. Her actions and her fate are inextricably linked to the great war that would reshape the world. Born from fire, married to 5, humiliated by many, avenged by thousands. Draupadi's life was a tapestry of triumph and tragedy, woven into the very fabric of the epic. In the end, Draupadi returned to the flames from which she came. Her story, a burning ember in the heart of the Mahabharata, continues to ignite debates and inspire millions to this day. Draupadi, a flame that burned too bright for her time, yet illuminated the path for generations to come. Krishna, the god who breaks every rule to uphold Dharma. His presence on the battlefield is both a blessing and a conundrum. He orchestrates the war, yet refuses to fight. Krishna's role is that of a guide, a strategist, but never a direct combatant. He preaches truth but manipulates every outcome. Krishna's actions often seem contradictory, blurring the lines between right and wrong. Was Krishna a divine savior? Or was he the ultimate pragmatist? His methods raise questions about the nature of divinity and morality. Why did he allow the war to happen if he could have stopped it? Krishna's decisions shaped the course of the entire conflict. And the Bhagavad Gita, was it a spiritual guide or a justification for violence? The teachings within hold profound implications for the war. At the heart of Krishna's story is his relationship with Arjuna, the reluctant warrior. Their dialogue forms the core of the Bhagavad Gita. The Pandavas, led by the wise Yudhishthira, stand ready for battle. Each brother brings unique strengths, guided by Krishna's counsel. On the opposing side stands Bhishma, bound by duty to fight against his own kin. His presence embodies the tragic nature of this war. Draupadi, wronged and seeking justice, is the catalyst for this conflict. Her story intertwines with Krishna's in complex ways. Divine weapons and celestial boons play a crucial role in this war, blurring the line between human conflict and cosmic drama. As the Battle of Kurukshetra begins, Krishna's role becomes clear. He is the fulcrum upon which the fate of Dharma balances, guiding humanity through its darkest hour. In the end, Krishna's actions raise more questions than they answer, challenging our understanding of divinity, duty, and the nature of right action. Kurukshetra, a battlefield where 18 days decided the fate of millions, a war that would echo through eternity. Brothers turned against brothers, their bonds of blood shattered by duty and ambition. Mentors killed their students, wisdom and youth clashing in a dance of destruction. And the gods watched silently, their divine plans unfolding through mortal suffering. But here's the twist. No one truly won. Victory tasted like ashes in the mouths of the conquerors. The Pandavas ruled, but at what cost? Arjuna lost his son, his arrow finding the wrong mark. Draupadi lost her children, her vengeance turning to ash in her mouth. And Yudhishthira, the supposed victor, was consumed by guilt, his righteousness a burden too heavy to bear. Even the Kauravas, in their defeat, found no solace. Dhritarashtra, the blind king, was left with nothing but the echoes of his lost sons. And what of Pandu, whose choices set this tragedy in motion? His exile became a metaphor for the isolation of power. Even Krishna, the divine incarnate, could not prevent the wheel of Dharma from crushing those he sought to guide. When the dust settled, the Pandavas ascended the throne. But was it victory or was it punishment? Yudhishthira abandoned his crown to seek salvation. As the Pandavas walked into the Himalayas, one by one they fell, leaving Yudhishthira alone. Did they find moksha, or were they escaping their sins? The Mahabharata doesn't end, it begins again. Its timeless narrative echoes through the ages, a cyclical tale of human nature. It's not a story of the past, but a reflection of the eternal human condition. Each character embodies timeless virtues and flaws, mirroring our own struggles. Greed, love, betrayal, and redemption. It's all here. The epic weaves these universal themes into a tapestry of human experience, as relevant today as it was millennia ago. So the question remains, is the Mahabharata a tale of gods, or is it about us? Perhaps it's both, a mirror reflecting the divine spark within every human soul. At the heart of the Mahabharata lies the great battle of Kurukshetra, a conflict that would shape the destiny of an entire civilization. Yudhishthira, the embodiment of Dharma, faces the ultimate test. His choices will determine not just the fate of his family, but the very nature of righteousness itself. Draupadi, a woman wronged, stands as a symbol of resilience and justice. Her presence on the battlefield reminds us of the personal stakes behind the grand conflict. In the midst of chaos, Krishna imparts the eternal wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, a moment that transcends the battlefield and speaks to the very essence of existence. In the end, the Mahabharata is a mirror to our souls. Its characters live within us, their struggles echoing our own moral dilemmas and spiritual journeys. And so, the great epic continues its eternal cycle, forever retold, forever relevant, a guiding light in the vast cosmos of human experience.